find you a bakkie?
It's not a bucket. It's a Hilux.
iDiskiTV powered by World Sports Betting. iDiskiTimes.co.za. iDiskiTimes.co.za. Also powered by World Sports Betting. Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is Nkululeko Ngeo with Lindo Pep. We haven't seen you in a long time, maybe around 10 days. We're still alive and kicking. We hope as well you are enjoying or surviving the winter in South Africa. Very cold in Johannesburg and cold in other parts of the country as well. So, the Club World Cup is still continuing, although many of our African teams are no longer part of it. One of the star performers, well, not star per se, but someone who's put in good performances at the Club World Cup is Thembinkosi Lorch. He still belongs to Mamelodi Sundowns. I want to ask Lindo Pep, our colleague, whether or not he thinks, number one, Lorch has a future at Mamelodi Sundowns, and secondly, there's been rumors that due to his performances at the Club World Cup, some teams want Lucas Ribeiro as well. Does he think Lucas Ribeiro will stay at Sundowns for the coming season? Lindo Pep, thank you very much for joining us, sir. How are you doing?
I'm all right, Mr. Nke. How are you?
I'm good, thank you very much, sir. Good performances by Lorch.
Yeah.
And I was even saying that when we were watching Sundowns at the Club World Cup, sometimes you make your agent's job easy by performing.
Yeah.
And I was saying that about Lucas Ribeiro, that sometimes you sell yourself through your actions. Let's first deal with the Lorch.
Yeah.
When he left for Wydad Casablanca, it was because he left Orlando Pirates to join Sundowns, and things were not going well for him there. It was a style of play, whatever. For whatever reason, it didn't work out. Then he goes to Wydad. He gets a new leash of life, and he goes to the Club World Cup, plays against Man City, does well there. He scores against Juventus as well. What do you think? Where is he at now? Does it feel like a new signing to Sundowns? Can we expect him to play immediately as he joins Sundowns?
Mr. Nke, shake my soul. Former footballer of the year. One of the best players we have in the country, one of the best players we've produced in the country in a very, very long time. For me, when he left the Orlando Pirates to go to Mamelodi Sundowns, Mr. Nke, it was very clear. He went into a club that has system, a club that plays a specific way.
Yeah.
And at the time he got to Mamelodi Sundowns, it was a general transfer move, which is a very difficult move in football. You're coming, new environment, new setup, new style of play, even though he does play with those players in the national team, the coach didn't want to use wingers, didn't suit his style of play. Even though he's not an out-and-out winger that plays on the line, yes, he can come inside, typical Rilem Fukeng kind of, in terms of talent, can find a pass. Unai carpet pass, he's got brilliant touches on him. His skill set, he can score goals. We've seen in the Club World Cup. I think he's one of his best quality to Lorch. People don't say this. He's got unbelievable work rate, but I think he's one of the best players to play closer to the box. I think he's got all the technical, he's different. He's got a chip, he's got a finesse, he's got a red carpet pass. He's very decisive. He's a match winner. That's one thing I like. He didn't have that when he got to Mamelodi Sundowns. He got into a team that relies on the system to win. I think what happens when he goes to Wydad is a human touch. It's a human touch, and I believe that each and every talented person deserves that, because sometimes they have.
But ironically, Coach Rulani had him at Sundowns.
Yeah.
And when Coach Rulani leaves for Wydad, he has him at Wydad. So it is still the same coach.
Yeah.
So we can't say that when he got to Sundowns, he got with a different coach. It was still the same Coach Rulani when he got to Sundowns.
For sure.
It was the same coach who believes in him. I agree with you, the human touch. It's a guy who believes in him. What do you think? You've described him, and it's the way that he is. He did well at the Club World Cup. What do you think Sundowns management, in particular Coach Miguel Cardoso, Coach Steve Compella, what do you think they think of him now? Do they think where Matthews is where he will fight with Lorch, or do they think, no, we are good on the left, on the right, central, we will sell Lorch? Where do you think their mind is at?
There's two things. There's the club and there's the coaches. The coaches are probably thinking, this is the kind of player we need. A player that's closer. Because with how Mamelodi Sundowns, the technical team play, they want those three players closer to the box. Ribeiro's got a different responsibility where you would drop deep, but you would find a Matthews closer to the box, running behind that. That's the quality that Lorch has. That's the quality. Like I said, upeti basket, el peta mafruta different. What do you need from him? Do you need him to run behind the defense? Do you need him to come closer to play on the ball? Do you need him as number 10? Do you need him to go out wide? He's got all of that. We saw against the Juventus, the chip. He's got the finesse in the box. You are talking about a player who's well-traveled as well. Played for Sundowns Chief. He can deal with the pressure. He's played matches of consequence. He didn't look out of place against the Manchester City. He was fitting like a glove. For me, the work rate, the level of intelligence as well, the character of the person.
So in your mind, you think that the coaching staff looked at his performances and think we would need him?
They are thinking it's a dream. Front three.
Yeah,
Lorch,
feel like a new player.
Ribeiro, Reynas. They are probably thinking, I deliver the Champions League. Because that's the quality I need. I need somebody who's a killer. I need a match winner. And I can't have Ribeiro dancing to the piano alone. Lorch is one of the best piano dancers we have in the league. Let's give him the opportunity. But the management is probably thinking, this is the right opportunity. He's 31. He had an unbelievable stellar performances in the Club World Cup. But not just in the Club World Cup. Had a stellar season in the Botola Pro. Was one of the best performing players in the last 10 games, I think. Won numerous men of the match performances. The club is probably thinking, we can make money out of this deal. Clubs are looking for him. Does he fit in? Because Sundowns are very, very strong in the dressing room. The dressing room means everything. Coach Pitori used to say this, I love a quiet dressing room. Because a quiet dressing room needs to win things. For me, Lorch got into the Mamelodi Sundowns. I think he got, maybe it's a syndrome. What's this syndrome? There's this syndrome where you get into a place and you feel out of place. I think Ushawe hiding because at Pirates he got like treatment.
It's like a homesickness.
Yeah.
You miss where you were coming from.
Imposter syndrome, that's the right word. I think that's
He didn't believe that he is the man that he is.
He didn't believe.
Or he belongs there.
Yeah.
Okay, quick one. We need to talk about Ribeiro as well.
Yeah.
You see Lorch being an important member of Sundowns in the coming season?
Nkulego, I had said very important.
There's a difference between what you want to happen and what will happen based on his relationship with the management.
Yeah.
We don't know things behind the scenes, and also even the feeling of does it feel like he's at home there?
Yeah.
We don't know those things. But in your mind, you think they will respect him? They will want him in the starting lineup?
No. If I'm being realistic, what Lindo wants, use him and no Ribeiro. But what Sundowns wants, I don't think so. I don't think he will be back at the
Why
club.
would Sundowns want something different? Because he's a performer. Like, based on what? Because he's not a troublemaker.
They didn't want him in the first place. He was a coach.
Oh yeah, I see. I remember that talk.
Yeah.
But then this is the player that we saw at the Club World Cup, and he performed for himself, put his name out there to whoever wants him, and he's back now at his parent club. You think we might still see him in the bench?
Cardoso's going to have to fight for him if he needs him. Rulani fought for him. If Cardoso needs him at Sundowns, he's going to have to fight for him. But the management, I think the management, by sending him out on loan, they already had made the decision. We've seen Osipombule. When the club makes a decision to send you on loan, you don't come back.
There's that Flemingberg factor as well. Thank you. We are here every now and then. Next weekend we'll be back as well, looking at some transfers. Before we let you go, I need to ask Lindo about Lucas Ribeiro. He played at the Club World Cup, played really, really well. Had a solo goal. Everyone was talking about it. It was shared by FIFA, shared by everyone all over the world. Who is this Brazilian? And he played against his fellow Brazilians when he played against Fluminense as well. So he's raised his profile, and that's why there are some people looking at him. Although I think when I look at the numbers, the pricing, and I'm thinking, if they're going to buy him for 2 million euros, that's maybe 40 million rands, which is similar to what Sundowns would have bought him for anyway, so it makes no difference to Sundowns, especially they come back with a 300 or 200 million prize money from the Club World Cup. So maybe a 2 million valuation or 1.5 million doesn't swing it to Sundowns to convince them to sell. And I don't even know that they should be selling someone who takes them to the CAF Champions League final. So there's those factors too. But it is true that we're dealing with a human being here. This is someone who says, I'm in South Africa for the time being. I need to be back in Europe. In his mind, he will be thinking that. So there's that as well, that if you refuse to sell him, his head might be gone, if that's where he's at the moment. What do you think of the situation?
Yeah, Nkulego, you know what, with Lucas Ribeiro, unfortunately, I don't know the character of the I know what I see there. I would have loved to know the person, because I would have said the person probably doesn't want to move, because for me, I think he's got this a simple mandate. You have to deliver the Champions League for Mamelodi Sundowns.
Well, South Africa to a Brazilian is a transition. It's a place to be when you're going somewhere else. I know that he was in Europe, I think in Belgium, or it was Arthur Salis was in Belgium. But for Brazilians, if they're in South Korea, for example, it's because they are in Asia so that they can go to Europe.
Yeah.
So this is a transition to somewhere else. So I think that's true, particularly for example, with the power of the currency, power of the euro, of the pound in that no matter how much you pay him here, you would have to give him the world for him to be convinced that he has to stay here. But if he goes to Belgium, for example, or if he goes to the Netherlands, if he earns 10,000 euros per week there, that's what, close to 200,000 per week. That's close to $1 million in a month. Although Sundowns can still pay that, but most of the time Brazilian players, they are in transition. Abo Mendieta from Argentina, they were in transition. They came to Stellenbosch so that they can go somewhere else as well. Unless he's convinced to go to Masandawana is his home.
Yeah, you know what, Nkulego, Brazilian players always have. That's why I'm saying it would be interesting to understand his personality and the kind of person he is, because certain players, Brazilians always feel like they want to play for a big club. Yes. It's not really about the money to them. It's about the love of the game. But also, there's two parts of Brazilians. There's the ones that would say, I want to go and play for the biggest clubs. But there's ones that come from the favelas that want to say, I want to change Family Assembly. And Oscar that went to China, right, for the money. So you never know. If he's that kind of a person, I would always advise him if the background doesn't allow him to actually get a move. But knowing Mamelodi Sundowns will never sell a key player because they are in a space where they genuinely believe they can win the Champions League. Tebogo Mokoena is an example of this. After the AFCON, he had stellar performances in the AFCON, but never got that move.
He's a South African player. It's a huge difference. It's because what Mokoena might want to go to Europe, but this is his country. There's no problem with language. There's no problem. If he wants to take a short left to somewhere, he's still in his country.
Maybe I'm overthinking this.
Because what you also need to consider is the buzz around Ribeiro during the Club World Cup is similar to the buzz he would get if he does that performance in the Europa League. What if he got the taste of that buzz, Uti, for the first time? Because he's been performing in South Africa. He's been performing in the CAF Champions League. But he got to the highest level, which is the Club World Cup, and he got a buzz for at least a week of, did you see this guy? Everyone is sharing the video clip. Did you see this guy? He plays in South Africa. He's a Brazilian. Now, if he does that week in and week out in the Europa League, I'm not even saying Champions League, he will still get the same thing because he would have done it in Europe. So maybe even from an achievement perspective, he was like, okay, I like this. You know, I'm not saying he must leave, actually. I think it's very important for Sundowns. But we're speculating here about will he stay? Will he leave? Why would he stay? Why would he leave?
Yeah, there's two things. Like that's why I'm saying, Kulego, maybe I'm overthinking this. But the player and the club will never allow to release him. But Brazilian players, they are always looking for a move. They are always looking for a better club. They are always looking for better finances. They are always looking for a country where they can settle, because there's Brazilians all over the world. But for me, just to conclude this, in my opinion, Kulego, is I don't believe he will make a move. I think the first MTN 8 game when Mamelodi Sundowns plays, I think he will be there in the starting lineup.
In 4 weeks' time, anyways.
In 4 weeks' time. And also, I think another thing the club will always say is they haven't replaced him. There's another sign. Because with the Apolis deal that happens at Pirates, it does give you a feeling that something might happen with Urili. But with Ribeiro, I think they could have replaced him a long time ago. And the fact that Mamelodi Sundowns hasn't replaced him in 4 weeks before the first league game, I think is going nowhere.
All right, there you go. Thank you very much, Lindo. Thank you very much to everyone as well for watching, speculating, talking, coming here once every 7 days. That's what we're going to do. And then the season will start. When it starts, it will be hectic for 10 consecutive months. And then there will be an AFCON in between in December. And then after that, there will be a World Cup at the tail end of the coming season as well. So we'll buckle up, take a break now, and we'll have a very, very hectic season afterwards. iDiskiTV, iDiski Times, was suspecting. For breaking news, go to iDiskiTimes.co.za.
Shapunjan bafowethu igama lami Lindo Pep, the best analyst in the country. Please don't forget to subscribe to iDiskiTV. Tanko.
This is Bongane Benedict Villagazi, they call me so. Niazi bafethu, Amakhosi for life, they are back in winning ways. Please, I tell you to subscribe to iDiskiTV.